Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansu, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we're going to have a hell of a show for you guys there today. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. And today we're going to be doing something that we haven't done for a very long time, which is talk about that damn Ben Simmons for 2 days in a row. Y'all already know how I feel about Ben Simmons, but today we got to talk about him again. So for those of you who may not be aware, yesterday we produced a show around Ben Simmons that was centered on Ben Simmons. Now, what am I talking about? Ben Simmons recently came out there and made some comments. As a matter of fact, what I want to do is I want to read from the article that we read yesterday, which was from marca.com. The article basically says, Ben Simmons speaks on future, says he would want to return to Philadelphia. Drafted as the #1 overall pick by the Philadelphia 76ers in 2016, Ben Simmons' career has had its fair share of highs and lows. After being traded to the Brooklyn Nets for James Harden in February of 2022, he faced an especially challenging period. Plagued by knee and back issues, Simmons sat out the entirety of the 2021-2022 NBA season and played only 42 games for the Nets. However, he has spent this offseason in Miami working intensively on his physical rehabilitation, and he's optimistic about his prospects for the upcoming season. Simmons told Anscape Mark Spears, "I'm excited because I know I can do it. I've evolved as a player and can't wait to show that on the court." Last season, he averaged a modest 6.9 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 6.1 assists per game, numbers he attributes to his then untreated herniated disc. Following back surgery in April 22, Simmons now declares he's at 100%. He further discussed the ordeal of being physically unfit to play, emphasizing that most people didn't grasp the full scope of his condition. Now recovered, he's amazed at the difference in his comfort and mobility. In the summer of 2021, Simmons requested a trade from the 76ers, citing mental health issues. He even filed a grievance against the team for withholding approximately $20 million of his salary. However, Simmons says he harbors no ill feelings towards Philadelphia, describing it as his second home. He elaborated, "If I were to be traded, I'll prefer to go back to Philadelphia." Right now, what's happening is we're beginning to get the charcoal ready because we're about to start the roast. And they're getting ready to roast Ben Simmons. So those were the comments that Ben Simmons uttered. Now, yesterday, what happened? Stephen A. Smith produced the show. And of course, these shows, if you're doing it that day, you're going to be talking about the hot topics of the day. So he talked about Undisputed. But then I saw at the end of it, he was going to be discussing Ben Simmons' comments. So what happened? Today I clicked on the show to see what he had to say about Ben Simmons. And when Stephen A. Smith started to talk about Ben Simmons, he seemed pretty irked. And out of nowhere, he just started obliterating this dude all over my computer screen. So what we want to do is I want to play exactly what he had to say about Ben Simmons. It was pretty intense. So put on your seatbelts. And then we're going to come back and continue on with the show. Take a listen to that there.
Ben Simmons, NBA player for the Brooklyn Nets, formerly for the Philadelphia 76ers. Brooklyn Nets guard Ben Simmons recently shared photos of himself working out. And he said, quote, "For me to come back and dominate people would be great. I don't intend to come back the same player because I am not even close to that." That's what he said. I want y'all to understand that when I say this, I'll openly confess to you that to some degree, it's a little personal. I'm pretty pissed off at Ben Simmons right now. Seriously. I think Ben Simmons at this particular moment is trifling as hell. And I say that respectfully because I like him. I loved him as a player when he played. And I like him as a person. He's a nice guy. I remember last year he came up to me and was talking about, just talking to me privately about some things and really opened up and expressed himself. And I'm not going to share his business because that's his business to share. But I really appreciated that. And he came up to me man to man. And I love that. What I have a problem with him for, though, is that he's talking before he actually does. This brother has been basketball's version of Mr. Irrelevant for the last 2 years. And I want to emphasize this too. I'm sensitive to mental health issues. I don't think we laugh at that. I don't think we excoriate that. I don't think we diminish that and act like, you know what, it's not an issue and it's not issues that people suffer from. People are harming other people. People are harming themselves. Those are people with mental issues. When you saw Naomi Osaka and how she would have these emotional and mental breakdowns, you know, inside of tennis arenas, press conferences and stuff like that, we've seen other people. Look, man, it's not a joke. And I understand that. But I pay attention to how you act when you're away from that environment. And you know what I noticed about Ben Simmons? He always makes sure he gets his money. He's never so disillusioned or foggy that he forgets when that check gets deposited. He certainly ain't foggy in the mind enough not to go get them fly ass outfits he be wearing sometimes. Sitting on a bench in orange one week, yellow another. You know, looking like the male model and looking fly as hell. I wish I looked that good. Brother's a good looking brother. I ain't swirling like that. I'm a heterosexual, but damn it, I'm man enough to know when somebody looks better than me. He does. Well, most people look better than me, but that's beside the point. You know what I'm saying. Okay? I ain't chopped liver, but damn it, I ain't no male model. Brother looks good. Making money. Tremendous basketball player. And to be clear, ain't shit as a competitor. Enough's enough. Enough's enough. Enough of the talking while you playing in the summer league. Enough of the talking while you ain't going against real competition. Ain't nobody look at your body and say you didn't have one. Ain't nobody look at your face and call you ugly. Ain't nobody look at you and say you need to get more definition or you need to get in shape. What we said is your behind needs to be on a basketball court. That's what we said. And he ain't there. But you still got to pay him. Back, knees, and all these surgeries, and got 10 different people vouching for you of how legit your injuries are. Well, when the hell did they happen? While you were taking out the garbage? Did you slip in the bathtub? Did you forget to cut your toenails low enough and bang them into a step or something while you were running up and really hurt yourself and you still ain't recovered from it?
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say about Ben Simmons. Now, before some people start piling on Stephen A. Smith, all he does is blah, 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 blah. Let me read you some of the comments that people were leaving on Ben Simmons' post via NBA Central that we got yesterday via, fadeawayworld.net. Let me read you. The post says, Ben Simmons says his goal is to dominate players next season. For me to come back and dominate people will be great. I don't intend to come back the same player I was last season because that's not even close to where I am. I'm excited because I'm like, damn, I would. Somebody wrote, we know that we know that ain't happening. And then another person posted a picture. The look when a jigger lying, but you listening anyway. Another person said, Nets are about to finally win the Ben Simmons and James Harden trade. Another fellow said, 0 point Ben Simmons once the playoff starts after dominating the regular season. Another person said, he doesn't dominate anyone though. He's a pass first forward. How about you try to dominate the free throw line before other players? People were roasting him over the comments that he made on Twitter, right? And if you listen to some of the things that people said, they're basically expressing the same sentiments as Stephen A. Smith said, which is, I'll believe it when I see it. Ben Simmons has found himself in a situation where now he's like the little boy crying wolf, right? You've done it before so many times that now no one believes you. What am I talking about? Ben Simmons, for years, is infamous for releasing videos in the offseason of him shooting jumpers like Stephen Curry or Klay Thompson. Then the minute the season ensues, Ben Simmons doesn't even look at the rim. During the offseason, during practices, he's fantastic. Sometimes you wonder where was this? What was all? As a matter of fact, a few years ago, when they posted the pictures of the videos of him shooting, Joel Embiid was like, "Where was this when we needed it?" Like, where was this when we needed it? So Ben Simmons has developed a reputation for being one of those people that talks too much before delivering. And it's gotten to the point where people no longer want to hear you talk. They want to see you deliver. It's the same thing with Paul George. We produced a video just yesterday, I believe it was, or the day before that, or it was yesterday. And we're talking and highlighting some comments Paul George made about the Clippers scheduling, like questioning the NBA. Why do you guys keep giving us this ridiculous schedule? And I was going through the comments, and at one point, I just kept on seeing a recurring comment: excuses. It's going to be another excuse. People, after a while, they get tired of it. Whether if it's valid or not, they get tired. And it comes a point where people want to see you actually go out there and perform. And if you're not doing that, what happens sooner or later is that people are going to start tuning you out. Now, for Stephen A. Smith to roast Ben Simmons like that, but this is not the first time he's done it, because Stephen A. Smith was one of those people, based on the tone of what he was saying, he wasn't so sure that Ben Simmons was actually going through all of those mental health issues, and he wasn't the only one. Not saying that that's what he said, he felt, but you could tell. A lot of people felt like he was using that as an out, Ben Simmons, to get away from other responsibilities. But hey, I could be wrong. So what I want to know from you guys is two questions. Number one, do you think Stephen A. Smith's position on Ben Simmons is fair? Number one. And number two, do you think Ben Simmons will finally play better and have an all NBA caliber season? Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comments, and we catch you on the next show.